Hey guys, welcome back my YouTube channel. I am from Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering, Bangalore, Department of Information Science and Engineering. My name is Suha.M, semester 2nd, class teacher, subject operating system, subject code BCS 303. In this video, I am explaining about this topic DNS poisoning of operating system catches, attacks and mitigations. Introduction of this video is what is cage poisoning? Cage poisoning is a type of cyber attack where an attacker injects malicious or incorrect data into a system's cage. A common example of cage poisoning is DNS cage poisoning, where an attacker alerts the IP address mappings in a DNS server's cage, redirecting users to malicious websites. In operating systems, various types of caches like the DNS cache, CPU cache, or web browser's cache can be targeted by cache poisoning attacks. DNS cache poisoning. Attackers manipulate DNS queries and responses to store malicious IP address mapping in the operating system's DNS cache, which may lead users to malicious websites without their knowledge. CPU cache poisoning. This type of attack targets low level caches like L1 or L2 cache in CPUs by manipulating the content of the cache, and attackers can force a ununited code executions or cache system slowdown. Web browser's cache poisoning. By manipulating a browser's cache, attackers can trick the browsers into storing malicious web content they is server to use when they visit legitimate websites. DNS cache poisoning. In DNS cache poisoning, an attackers inject false domain name systems. Expanded form of DNS is false domain name system. It records into a DNS resolver's cache. As a result, the DNS servers returns an incorrect IP address, redirecting traffic to malicious sites. Impact of this slide is this can lead to precise attacks, malware distributions, and data breaks as users on unknowledging directed to harmful websites. OS-wide DNS cache. Modern OSs have built-in DNS cache. These caches are shared OS-wide, meaning that if an application populated and entered in the cache, this entire will be used by any other applications that requires resolution for the same name, similar to records cached at the DNS resolvers. And OS wide DNS cache record is the stored along with a time to time value which is set by the domain authoritative name. Such servers is the determine the lifetime of record in the cache. The purpose of having such a cache is to improve the performances of DNS resolution as it is on the critical path of accessing internet resources, especially for applications that have many short-lived connections. When a client machine issues a DNS requires that requires reaches the authoritative name servers, having the answers after transferring a chain of DNS servers or resolvers and different layers of caches. In Before I explain the topic, this is slide is an example for that topic I explained before. DNS street model. We consider for entities below the victim slides machine and it OS wide DNS sketch. Second, a limited resolvers which attacks as a DNS servers for the client machines. The client may connect to these resolvers via a NAT device which has its own DNS sketch. The OS devices malware which is unprivileged and cannot tamper with the other applications directly. We will instate this later in sessions. This malware could be a malicious JavaScript learning running in the browsers after an attacker's browsers, a malicious or compromised websites or a malicious application downloaded to the user's phone. Fourth, the half-path attackers who is capable of spoofing the IP address of the limited resolvers. The malware of path attackers collaborated to poison the OS-wide DNS cache with a malicious mapping for the target domain name. Attack construction and analysis. We first overview the attack at a high level and introduce the possible attack scenarios. We then explain how to overcome number of challenges needed to implement the attack, leading to the complete end-to-end attack. Realistic conditions. A malicious user's level program requested a DNS resolution for the target DNS domain. The goal of the attackers to poison the cache DNS entry such that it resolves the IP address of attacker servers, redirecting users' connections, targeting to go the attacker's web servers. In practice, before the unprivileged malware triggers, the DNS required request, it alerts the half path attackers so that when the DNS request is sent, the half path attackers has started to respond by flooding the client with a smooth responses, maximizing the use of a vulnerable window between the issue of DNS request and the receipt of a valid response. This is slide with the example I explained before the topic. Challenges and detailed attack procedures. In order to send smoothified response, the half-path attackers must first obtain the DNS request source IP address, source UDP port, destination IP address, and destination UDP port. DNS primarily used the UDP protocol to transmit packets. 3. In our attack, we assume that all DNS traffic between victim, the source, and resolvers, the destination is over UDP, which is valid assumption because DNS a packet size is usually smaller than 512 bytes. Conclusion of this video is this paper identification and evaluated a new slide of OS-wide DNS caches poisoning attack against Windows, Mac OS and Linux OSs. The attack targets that OS level DNS caches, a client slide caches supported by most modern OSs. We try of the attack to ward against each OS individuals taking into account the specific of each implementation. The attack succeeds in as little on 10 of seconds under realistic conditions. We also built an analytic model for the expected number of rounds for the attack to succeed for both Windows and Ubuntu and validate the model against experimental observations. Finally, we propose a defense that requires only a patch of the OS of the slide client devices and show that it can magnetate the attack. Thank you for watching my full video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe my YouTube channel. Your one like is helpful to get my marks. Thank you for your support.